If the world was ending and I was going to be trapped in a survival bunker and I could bring one video game with me, I would bring Elden Ring. Yeah, I loved it that much. It's a masterpiece. Everything about it is on point. I got lost in that game, in the exploration, in the lore, the feeling of every corner there was something new for me to find. From Maidenless all the way to slaying the Elden Beast, I enjoyed every second I played of that game. It felt like a game that was made just for me. It's like that one line from Twilight.
It's like a drug to me. You're like my own personal brand of heroin.
But now, with Elden Ring Nightreign, I have some serious doubts. Nightreign is marketed as a multiplayer co-op adventure. It looks to be one part Fortnite, one part roguelike, and of course, one part soulslike. And at first glance, it sounds like a dream, roaming the lands between with friends, living out the dream of being a pseudo band of mercs, slaying beasts, finding loot, and battling bosses together. Sounds perfect, right? But I'm starting to wonder, could this be too good to be true? Let's talk about what's got me excited, and then we'll dive into the things that have me questioning whether the game is worth the $40 price tag. First, some positives. No fall damage. Huge win. I am sick of losing my souls because I misstep. I can't tell you how many times I'm trying to get somewhere, jump up somewhere high with torrent, and I end up falling to my death and losing all of my souls. But in Nightreign, it's a non-issue. There's new climbing mechanics. They've added a pseudo climbing feature, making traversal faster and smoother than it was in Elden Ring. And honestly, it opens up so many more possibilities for getting around the map, and maybe even some new tactics in combat. Sprinting is doubled. Watching footage of this was a trip. Seeing characters zip around at insane speeds after the slow, methodical pace of Elden Ring feels jarring, but also exciting. It's like the game is pushing you to take risks, to charge headlong into battle, which is flipping the Elden Ring script on its head. Now, I'm not saying that this is better than what we saw in Elden Ring, but it's definitely a change in pace. This next point, I feel like I really need to get my hands on the game first to know how I'm gonna feel about this. It looks like they've massively simplified some of the game's systems. In Elden Ring, you'd level up your character and you'd have to decide what stats to prioritize to go for the build you're trying to create. But in Nightreign, instead of managing your stats and customizing your build, you're actually choosing from a curated list of a few different archetypes. And when you level up, the game takes care of whatever stats for you. You don't have to think about it anymore. You just level up. Now, each of these archetypes comes with their own ultimate ability, which really shakes things up. It's got my mind racing on ideas of how to create this optimized party that works really well together in combat. I think there's going to be a lot of cool inner party dynamics that you can play around with. That is one of the things I'm actually the most excited to get my hands on to see what that plays like. But now let's talk about the concerns I have with the game. There are a few things that are leaving me feeling skeptical. Number one, no voice chat. I'm sorry, what? No voice chat on a multiplayer game? Guys, this gameplay isn't straightforward. This isn't Fortnite or Call of Duty where you can just kind of get by off of a general game sense. This is Elden Ring, a game that is complex, a game that requires tactics. You're definitely going to need some communication between your team members. And to not have voice chat built in seems like a huge missed opportunity, a huge oversight. And sure, if you're playing with your friends, you can just use Discord, but what about playing with randoms? That's a tough sell, and I just don't know how that's going to work long term. Here's another weird choice. Password-based matchmaking to play with your friends. There's always been this air of that's just how we do it, get used to it, sort of ideology in FromSoftware. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a bit obtuse, and I'm not sure how else to describe it, but it's just classic FromSoftware. But I've got to ask, is this going to turn people off of the game? If you've got a dedicated group of friends to play with, it might be annoying, but if it works, it works. It might just be good enough. The other thing that's got me feeling a little skeptical is it just too different from the normal formula? It looks like Elden Ring. It's got the weapons from Elden Ring. We've got the baddies and the bosses, but does it feel like Elden Ring? Does it play like Elden Ring? I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But here's where my cynicism really kicks in. They've already announced DLC for this game. On paper, that's fine. Extra content, extra weapons, new maps, that's fine. When I saw the listing for additional player characters and bosses on the DLC subsection on Steam, I couldn't help but wonder, is this starting to feel like a cash grab? I don't mind FromSoftware making money off of their creations. Hell, they deserve it. If any studio deserves it, it's FromSoftware. But I can't shake the feeling that this is the start of a slippery slope towards live service monetization. And that's my biggest concern with Nightreign. Will we eventually see paywalls for new content? You want some new bosses? That's $12.99. You want a new class? That's $20. The idea of a live service Elden Ring, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me for some reason. I love this franchise, but I fear this could be the beginning of them milking the cow dry. And this is where I hope I'm dead wrong. I really want to be wrong about this. I'd love to see this game live up to its potential. But right now, I'm skeptical. But hey, that's just where I stand today. I really, truly hope I'm wrong. I want this game to succeed. I want to experience it. I want to enjoy it. I want to love it. I want to have a blast playing with my friends. But there's a lot to consider, so we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But before we finish, I want to take a quick second and talk to you all about something a little personal. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed and has been following the channel. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Honestly, your support is incredible, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you. Some days, though, it's tough. I pour a lot of time and effort into these videos. A lot of you have been there where you put so much into something. The effort doesn't reflect the outcome. But that's part of the grind, right? That's part of the journey. But what really keeps me going is knowing that you guys are here, that you guys are watching and interacting with the content. So if you're enjoying the video, please hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me. And I feel like we're building something really cool. So thank you for being a part of that. Okay, enough of the heartfelt stuff. Let's get back to the video. FromSoftware has earned a lot of goodwill with me. I mean, these guys gave us Dark Souls. They gave us Elden Ring, generation defining games. I mean, hell, they built their own subgenre of game, the soulslike. But seeing these signs of corporate influence starting to creep in has me feeling a little on edge, a little skeptical. Right now, I'm holding off on hitting that add to cart button. If I'm being honest, I hope they do an open beta so that everyone who wants to can really get their hands on the game and understand what it is, be a really informed consumer before they decide to make a purchase. Let's see what FromSoftware does with this. I hope they cook. Anyways, I'll sign off. As always, stay skeptical and fight the power. Peace.